Hey guys, welcome to Full Street Beats. Quick, before we start this video, just hear me out. Don't click away yet. I'm doing this video because I don't want any of my fellow Chibson hobbyists out there, if you will, to misunderstand this video. This isn't about bashing anybody's Facebook group or anything like that. I want you to know that. I really like all those groups. I don't say much in them, right? You guys all know that. You might know that I might be there in the background, but I don't say much. That's because I listen and I watch, because that's my job is to observe. And then I report on this channel, the trends and what's going on. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of good guys that I think might be, I don't want to say being tricked, because that might not be the right word. Maybe too gung-ho and doing some things that maybe could get them in trouble later on down the line. And I don't want to see that. And that's the purpose of this video. Okay. So keep that in mind. I'm just looking out for your well-being. You take it with a grain of salt, do whatever you want with it.
Whatever. I'll do what I want.
But I don't feel like I would be doing my due diligence and duty to tell you guys, what to look out for and what not to do. And I don't want it on my conscience that some really good guys out there might be unknowingly doing some things that may get them in trouble down the line, and we don't want to see that. We want to keep everything on the legal side of things, because it's bad enough that there's people out there that don't understand the legalities of owning a personal guitar for your own personal use under the Lanham Act. They don't understand it, and they just won't because, well, they're snobs and their egos are too big. But we don't have to worry about them. When they come to the channel, we just get rid of them. But I do need to warn you when you come close to crossing the line of legalities, because I don't want you guys to get in trouble or for your hobby to end or leave a bitter taste in your mouth later on. Camaraderie is good. Facebook groups can be good. They can be very bad. Listen, leave the selling of these guitars to the Chinese. Don't get involved in the selling of these guitars. If you want to show a guitar or leave a link to a guitar, that is fine. But don't take the onus off the builders or the sellers over there and put it on yourselves. And that's the purpose of this video. Don't do it. You may find yourself in hot water later on. Keep it legal, okay? If you want to show your guitars, review your guitars, be a hobbyist, do it. Don't let them trick you into selling these guitars for them, is my point. Now, there's nothing wrong with leaving a link for transparency to where you got them. I would never, ever ask somebody to come through me to buy a guitar. You see how that would look? I hope you guys understand that. Reviewing guitars is one thing. Enjoying the hobby is one thing. But asking people to come to you to sell a guitar, that's another entire thing. And it may be, even if you're not doing anything, it might look like you are to certain people. And, well, you don't need that. That's all. So let's get on with the video. Hopefully you guys didn't take that wrong. I'm trying to be, I don't know. I'm trying to say it the best I can. So I hope you guys understand that. But let's watch this video because there's a really cool guitar in it. And there's a like button you can hit right there too. Thanks, guys. See you in a minute. Hey guys, welcome to Fulton Street Beats. It's good to see you here again. And if you could, before we get started, there is a like button that is right there. If you could hit that, I would appreciate it. Or the dislike button, whatever. It's a YouTube algorithm. It really doesn't care what you hit, honestly. I prefer the up button because it lets me know that I'm bringing you content that you like. We're going to talk about a couple things today in the Chibson world. And a lot of this, well, it's just from experience, and I wanna make sure everybody, well, gets things straight and there's no confusion. I get asked a lot, start out with. I get asked a lot what my favorite Chibson that came through here is, and it's been a lot, right? You guys can admit there's been a lot of they come through here, but they stay. All of the Chibsons that I have gotten are still here and well cared for. Once they hit this studio, this is where they remain. A lot of them are tucked away, a lot of them are in cases, and a lot of them still remain on the walls, kind of all around me. You can't see the back wall here, but there's a lot of guitars. Anyhow, we did a shootout a while back, quite a while back, with Kathy Zong. Some Chibsons that I've gotten from her were outstanding. Some were in the middle, and I even had, well, just one, honestly, that really was subpar, but we fixed that up, and that was the Megadeth um, Dave Mustaine Flying V. So we got that one fixed up. But there was another contender, if you remember back. We had a shootout. Kathy Zong won the shootout between another brand, Hugh Yangshu Dawn, and that's what this is. This is the Hugh Yangshu Dawn SG. And this was meant to be a back in black, AC/DC back in black, Angus Young style guitar. And they did a pretty good job. They really did. There were some things that weren't done that I asked for, but it really is it's a pretty good job. It's got a really nice fret job. Rosewood fretboard, very thin neck. It's a little slimmer than a 60s. And of course, tuxedo look. Pick guard is not quite what an SG pick guard should be. It's not even close if you want to really get technical. And it doesn't have the pin style bridge. It does have the slots in the bridge post, which is fine. That doesn't bother me because, well, Angus Young used a lot of SGs with actual slots in the bridge posts, even on the Gibsons, and that is because when he sweat, he would corrode those, and this Tex wanted to be able to turn those easily, so they were slotted posts, and Gibson even produced some of those with slotted posts for him. So that's pretty cool. But, gold hardware, beautiful, beautiful looking guitar. I think we can all agree on that. It's got the Grover labeled tuners on the back. I'm sure they're not real, but all of these ones are nice and not pitted. It holds tune really, really well. And I haven't did anything to this guitar. Zero. Nothing. No upgrades except for throwing some lightning bolts on it. That's it. And remarkably, this neck has stayed amazing. The frets have stayed amazing. It plays, it sounds fantastic, as you guys are going to hear here in a minute, and short little backing track. But this is a fantastic guitar. And again, this was from Hugh Yangshu Dawn. Listen, I don't know where to direct you other than I know they were selling on eBay at one point, and that's it. That's all I can say. I don't know. There was a big communication barrier there. It was really hard to communicate with them. And there was a lot of frustration because I really would have liked this checked out, some of their other guitars and in the communications back and forth, emails, what have you. Everything just got so lost in translation. I finally just gave up. But it is what it is. Kathy, however, I continued to actually speak with her and talk about new guitars she was coming out with. And I'd talked to her and said, hey, maybe you should do some different logos on headstocks and get away from, the putting trademark names on the headstocks. And she started to listen for a while. And then, you got to do your own thing. You got to do what you like. But I think that people liked tribute guitars that didn't necessarily have names on headstocks. She went a route that I particularly didn't agree with the group buy thing. I know a lot of people like the group buys on Facebook, and I'm not knocking you. If you're in one of those Facebook groups, I follow one of those groups, but I don't really participate in it. I don't agree with the group buy thing simply because I tend to see quality control suffer a lot through many different builders with group builds. So, um, I don't do it. It's just, it's not for me, and her and I talked about it one time, and I suggested that she didn't do it, but apparently, some other people talked to her, and they got her to do it, and that's fine. I mean, you gotta do things the way you need to do them. But I do follow these groups, and they're for most part, they're a bunch of really good guys, and I stay out of them. I stay out of the conference. There's really one group that I follow. I'm not gonna name it, but I stay out. I don't comment. I don't nothing. Why? Because I don't want to appear biased. Because I'm not biased, but I don't want to appear biased to anybody. I want everybody to understand that I'm just reviewing guitars, nothing more. And if I get a good one, I get a good one. If I get a bad one, I get a bad one, and I'm going to tell you the truth. But I will tell you that I've learned about a lot about the legalities of Chibson guitars and replica guitars. I've learned quickly that what's good for thee is not necessarily good for me. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean there's been a lot of fake guitars on the market that are okay within the status quo because, well, it made them money in some way or another. And a lot of people, you're going to know right what I'm talking about. And there's a bunch, right? And there's been a lot of famous guitar players who have played fake guitars, and that was okay because later on, the big brands would give them guitars and they would be endorsed. So the big brands, now they turned a kind of a blind eye to them playing um, fake guitars. And some even made money off of copying the fake of the fakes. Weird stuff like that. And, I'm not going to get into the politics of it today. We've done that in the past. But what I will tell you is, you know, if you're in one of those Facebook groups and you're doing the group build thing, cool. But be careful, guys, because you got to watch it. You don't want to be a part. How do I put this? I'm going to keep this real and I'm not going to cut this or edit it, okay? You don't want to put yourself out there open to legality issues or trouble, okay? Um, you got to remember that if you are acting as an agent, and what I mean agent is if you're reviewing a guitar, you're showing a guitar, you're a part of a group and it's cool, and you want to leave a link to a guitar to somebody who's selling it, that's fine because that's media, that's transparency. Um, you're allowed to do that. But if you are actually crossing the threshold of brokering a guitar, um, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be a liaison, I guess. If people ask me, "Hey, where'd you get it?" I tell them because it's open to the public anyhow. I can tell you where I got something and I can tell you what I paid for it. But the minute I start acting as a go-between, for, "Hey, um, contact me," saying, "Contact me to get this guitar." You're crossing a little bit of a line there in a legal way. Because you're saying contact. If I had this YouTube channel and I was saying, "Contact me to get this guitar," that's not good. That's not gonna fly because I just crossed from the world of media to almost a liaison, almost a, um, almost a broker for the guitars, and I don't wanna do that. You never wanna do that. That's why we have fair, unbiased, real reviews here on this channel. They're just reviews of guitars, and we never, ever wanna cross that line, and I make sure never to do that, and that's why I always put in my descriptions that, the guitars are shown for media and transparency purposes, because that's exactly what it is. If I have a link, that's shown for media and transparency purposes. I don't make nothing off the sales of any guitars ever, and I don't expect guitars to be sent to me, um, for for compensation for anything. If a manufacturer wants to send me a guitar, that is fine, but never once have I ever accepted any type of payment for a review. Just keep that in mind. Never have I accepted any type of payment for a review. I only accept guitars to review for media purposes, and they're never up for resale. So I'm just saying this so a lot of you don't get blindsided if something happens to you in your Facebook group and something bad happens. I just don't want it to happen. Um and you got to keep the selling aspect of it in the Chinese market, not on you. Don't act as a liaison. Do not act as a broker. Don't act as a middleman. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, and I'm not telling you even as a matter of opinion. I'm telling you, don't do it. I don't want to see anybody get in trouble. I know you're having fun. It seems harmless, and I 100% agree with you. You're having fun, and it seems harmless. But in the eyes of the judge's department, it's not. And a lot of people, it's enough that they've got this bad persona that they can't handle you having a guitar anyhow. It's already bad enough in the eyes of, well, the uneducated public to the legalities of that. Yes, you're totally allowed to have any guitar you want legally. We went over that and over that Lanham Act. You can have any name on a guitar you want, but it has to be your personal guitar, and don't get rid of it. And if you ever do get rid of it, you better change what the copyrighted traits are of it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that before you do. If you alter it where that's not there anymore, then you're fine. I mean, a lot of people do that. That's why I always suggested, hey, just get guitars with your own, trademarks on the headstock. I don't care. People say, why'd you get it with that on the headstock? They just send them that way. And a lot of times you buy guitars on eBay. Countless times I've bought guitars on eBay that are labeled unbranded. They say unbranded. Well, we all know now when they're labeled unbranded and they're really not unbranded. They have a sticker on them that has, well, the brand that it's supposed to be. And then we take that sticker off to reveal what's underneath. And we just altered the guitar is what we did. Actually, they're shipped with their name on it, covering up. They've changed the guitar so it doesn't have that trademark logo. And then we tend to peel it off and make the trademark logo visible again. So that's the onus is on us for that, and we didn't have to do that. And you could do the same thing, put a decal on it, um, and say that decal is not meant to be taken off. But there's other traits too. We can talk about headstock designs, all that stuff. But just be careful. I guess that's my point. Be careful. These guitars can rock. This is a rocking guitar, once again, from Hu Yang Shu Don. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where they are. eBay, I guess. Um, like I said, they tried to reach out before, but it's too much translation difference. Kathy Zong, her and I used to speak quite a bit, not so much anymore since she found to be honest, that found the Facebook group, and I guess she's selling a lot of guitars as group buys through Facebook groups, which, like I said, I have no part in that. It's not what I do. And that's why I got out of a lot of Facebook groups, because I didn't want to think anybody to think that I was ever doing anything like that or even biased. I love Kathy Zong's guitars, most of them. And I found that she is a really good person. Um, but she may be building me a guitar. I think she is, but I'm not sure. I requested a guitar, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. And if it comes, then I will review it. It's nothing that you guys would even probably think of. No, it doesn't have the G word on it or anything like that. Something totally different. But you guys would probably be impressed if it does come. It's a guitar that I've always wanted, and for me. And if she can do it, fine. If she can't, fine. That's understandable. But I'm still going to keep bringing you guys cool guitars. So why haven't I had any Chibsons come through here lately? Honestly, none float my boat right now. I guess that's what I'm saying. Firefly has been making some really cool guitars that have been fulfilling my urge and itch for guitars, such as the Randy Rhoads Polka Dot V back here on the wall, and the Les Paul that I reviewed, and the EVH style guitar that I reviewed from Firefly. And they also have won the They have the Hendrix V. I think they called it. It was the one with all the design. Maybe they called it the lipstick V or whatever. Man, that is a cool looking V guitar. I love that guitar. I'd like to get my hands on one. Very, very cool. But Firefly has been, and the quality's been outstanding. And there's no logos on the headstock. If I decide I want to get rid of those guitars, I can. And it's really cool. Listen, I love tribute guitars. I love guitars like this that remind me of certain artists. However, you get stuck in the conundrum where you cannot get rid of those guitars legally without altering them to make them legal for sale. And, it gets a little frustrating sometimes because I'm really running out of room for guitars. So it is what it is. But yes, I'll keep bringing you guys guitars. So let's hear this thing, to prove that these guitars can be fantastic out of the box with no upgrades. And please remember, it's rock and roll makes the world do that spinny thing, or maybe for some it's rock and roll keeps the world flat and level. I don't know, whatever floats your boat, right? But yeah, cool guitar. Let's play it. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Peace out, guys. Bye.
Whatever, I'll do what I want.